We got to get to the bottom of why you put so much value on your body, baby. You are so much more valuable than what your body looks like. You are so much more than your body. And we've got to get to that underlying issue of why you feel like if you look a certain way, your value drops. That's not true. It's just an outward expression of how you feel about yourself. There's a glow that can happen within you no matter what your weight is, that will happen once you learn to love yourself. It radiates outside of you. And when you don't love yourself, you may start to hide and eat and feel that guilt, feel that shame, feel that inner punishment. And we just got to get that version of you that's living on the inside of you to the surface to feel safe. All of this, baby, all of this boils down to safety. Anybody that I talk to, anybody that I work with that is dealing with an ED, you fundamentally do not feel safe in your body. You do not feel worthy. You do not feel lovable. And you feel large amounts of shame and like you have to hide and do something to fill a void that food is never going to fill. That alcohol is never going to fill. That weed is never going to fill. And then you're going to stay in the loop continuously doing it, hoping maybe today is going to be the day that I wake up and I feel better after I take this shot or I hit this doobie or I eat this burger. And it's not, baby. It's going to make you feel worse. And you deserve to feel worthy. You deserve to feel beautiful. You deserve to feel like you are more than your body. You deserve to be regulated. You deserve to be emotionally stable. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever been able to feel that? Have you ever been around adults in your life that felt that? You don't have to live in that paradigm anymore. When I boil down what I want my channel to be, I want to be a beacon of hope for people who lived in paradigms or they worked in jobs they hated. They were in friendships that didn't fulfill them. They were in relationships that didn't fulfill them. They were stuck in toxic cycles. They came from large amounts of trauma to let you know that you do not have to die in that. There is a version of you out there that can get to the other side of things, that doesn't have to work that job, be in that relationship, deal with these addictions, deal with these disorders, because you are so powerful and because you can take your life back. I don't eat and puke anymore. I still have days where I maybe eat a little bit much, or I really probably shouldn't have got the fast food and I did. But that's such a leap, a huge leap, and a huge significant difference between stuffing myself full, feeling unworthy, feeling gross, feeling like I'm nothing and making it come out of me, and then sitting there and stewing in the fact that I'm such a bad person and all these feelings and all these emotions. That's no way to live. I hated living like that, and I don't live like that anymore. Get to the bottom of why you feel how you feel with food. Get to the bottom of why you feel how you feel about yourself. Get to the bottom of why your self-worth feels so low. Did anybody build you up? Did anybody tell you that you were valuable? Did anybody tell you that you were more than your body? And I know for me, I heard you're pretty growing up more than anything else. And it put this idea in my head that if I wasn't pretty, I wasn't valuable because it was the only thing people told me that was cool about me. My looks are the least interesting thing about who I am as a human being. And same to you. I don't care if you're 300 pounds. I don't care if you're 600 pounds. I don't care. At the core of who you are a human being who is hurting and who is lost in this cycle or in this trap of shame, guilt, low self-worth, and hatred. And I don't want you there anymore. And this ain't for people who just like to eat, honey. This is for people who are obviously stuck in a cycle that they don't want to be in because they are in this shame loop around food and around their body and around their self-worth. And I just want to be a beacon of light to you that it gets better, that it can get better. That you can have a healthy relationship with food, that you can have a healthy relationship with your body, you can have a healthy relationship with the gym, if that's what you want. And do it because you love yourself, not because you hate yourself. If you are continuously trying to lose weight, build a body, go to the gym, and do something, and the root reason of why you're doing it is because you hate yourself, you are never going to find happiness no matter what that scale says. You are never going to find happiness no matter how much weight you lose. You are never going to feel fully satisfied because you are doing it for all of the wrong reasons that are not in vibrational resonance with your soul. Your soul is literally the essence of love. Your soul is literally the essence of acceptance. So if you are doing anything outside of that vibration, it is not going to work for you because it is not in resonance with you. Learn to love yourself and do these things through self-love and not through self-hatred, and you'll feel so much better on the other end of it. When I was going to the gym a few years ago, it's because I hated myself. When I was working out, it was because I hated my body. When I was eating all these foods that were good for me, it was because I needed to be skinny to feel valuable. I don't do any of that anymore. I eat to nourish my body, and I eat out sometimes. Sue me. I love a good sweet treat because life is meant to be experienced and enjoyed. I go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week because I like feeling strong. I want to be strong. I don't try to shrink myself anymore. I want to be strong. I have a daughter. I want to be vital. I want to be able to be with her throughout her life. I want to be able to keep up with her whenever she's in the stage where she's running around like a crazy person. I want to be the one tiring her out. I want to be able to pick up my groceries. For the longest time, none of these things mattered to me. I just wanted to be skinny. I just wanted to be pretty because I thought my value lied in if someone wanted to have sex with me. Because I was so male-centered. I'm not male-centered anymore. I am rose-centered. I'll never forget, I was outside of this place in Florida. I was traveling at the time, and I went to Arby's, McDonald's, and Wendy's, and I got 3 different things, and I sat in that parking lot and I ate it, and I cried the entire time. And it was the first time in my entire life that instead of beating myself up, instead of being mean to myself, instead of feeling so gross and so unworthy and so nasty, I imagined finding a child like this, because I've been doing this since I was a child. I imagined finding a child like this, and I asked myself, what would I say to her? It was definitely not the things that I was saying to myself. I patted myself on the leg and I said, it's okay. What's going on? What happened today? I burst into tears and I started talking to myself. For the first time, I talked to myself. I said, I felt so overwhelmed. I felt like I didn't have a voice. I felt like I couldn't take up for myself a few times today. I feel overwhelmed with not having a house. I feel overwhelmed with traveling all day. I feel overwhelmed with not having like a kitchen to cook in, and there's so much fast food around me. And I talked to myself. And I said, hey, it's okay. This does not define you as a human. This does not define you as a human. You're just going through something, baby. You're just going through something. And it's okay. And I talked to myself, and I loved on myself. And I asked, what can we do tomorrow to make sure that this doesn't happen? And the next day was the first day in years that it didn't happen again. Now, maybe the day after it did, I don't really remember, but I remember for a fact that the next day it didn't. And now I don't do it at all. And a few months ago, I didn't do it, but maybe once every 4 months. And then, you see what I'm saying? Maybe when you start, you're only getting one day where it's not happening. But eventually, if you stick to it and you talk to yourself and you learn to regulate yourself and you learn to be there for yourself and you learn that you're so much more valuable than your body, eventually you'll get to the other end of it and you'll be sitting in a spot like me where you say, I don't binge and purge anymore. What a beautiful thing that is to say. And you can do it too. And that's why I talk about this, because anybody can do it. But it's not going to look like what you think that it looks like. It's going to look like a lot of self-love, a lot of acceptance, and a lot of nights where you're still doing it. Until we get to the bottom of why this began in the first place. Why you started doing this in the first place, and deeply unrooting that shit. That's it. That's my take on it. And I appreciate you for watching. I really hope you get something out of it. And listen, if you're struggling with food right now, if you are struggling with food, you are not alone, and there's nothing wrong with you, and you're just going through something, and I'm here to be a beacon of light to let you know it can get better. And I love you dearly. Thank you for watching, and Godspeed on your